Hello and welcome to the Theory of Thing Investment Podcast. My name is James Whelan, Managing Director of Barclay Pierce Capital's Wealth Management Team. We are live from Studio 5.7 at the Barclay Pierce Capital headquarters here on 115 Pitt Street, Sydney, Australia. And I'm joined here by Heath Moss of HLM Investments. Heath, how are you now?
Very well, thanks, mate. Very well.
Hey,
Got a few
on an
kids
intro.
sick home
When don't you?
today. Yeah, I know. I think you've forgotten. Your kids are a little bit older. I think you've forgotten how often kids get sick. I mean, that's
When they're
it's the
little, when
annoying
they're
thing.
little. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, mine are only 6 and 8, and people send their kids to school because they both work and stuff, and they're sick,
Mm.
and that everyone gets it. So, yeah, they're off. They're off yesterday and today. So it could be a little bit loud. You could hear a bit of background
That's
noise
fine. I've
throughout the
got some
pod.
stuff that's going on here as well. I've got
Mm,
it's family friendly, mate. That's what we do. We're at home, we're at work, we're doing
mm,
the whole thing. I've actually
mm.
got I've had to step back into uh my old hunting ground. You know the expression that I've got, don't trust anyone that hasn't worked on a bookings team.
Hmm.
I'm stepping in. I'm stepping in on a bookings team in a trade support function. You know, stepping down. MD, you're never too big for the game, mate. We had a few just need a little bit of a specialist touch, a little bit of the magic fingers of old Jimmy James Whelan that used to work on the trade support team at UBS, mate. We could get anything done. So stepped in to just try and get some stock match that needed to be done for an international client of ours, and it's good to get back into it, mate. You're never too big for the boots. Step down and step in. And I love doing that sort of thing as well.
No,
But
you've got to
there is.
come back to us commoners sooner or later. Start mingling with the people.
Back down to
Off
earth.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shake a few hands. Make sure I
yeah,
sanitize afterwards, though.
yeah.
But
Exactly.
the no, it's good to do it, but it does say when staffing and when going through picking staff, the best advisors and the best senior guys are ones that have done that a central job in an investment bank or a central job at a stockbroking firm. They
Mm,
understand how the settlement process works. They understand how the counterparties work. They understand how and who to talk to people at different various areas of the office. Advisors that just go straight into that level and have only ever done that.
hmm.
They're only good at that, and they can't do any of the extra support and any of the extra stuff that's on the
Hmm.
back. And I prefer I prefer people who are like me, not like me, but prefer people who have come through the similar sort of thing, which is great.
Mm.
Um, this show brought to you by Wakey Wakey.
Wakey, wakey.
I've run out. I thought George threw the office, I think, a little bit, but just a few announcements. Wellnex came out with the announcement earlier this week, another quarter of profit, which is great.
Yep, looking
Um,
good.
so every time I see George, I should hit him up for some more Wakey Wakey. Or I'm not buying this stuff myself, mate.
Just
That's
head
for
down
sure.
to your chemist warehouse
It's just across the road. I'm not doing it. I don't care. I'm not buying my own Wakey Wakey. Okay, send them up. It
beautiful.
would be insane for me to be buying our own Wakey Wakey, mate. Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
No, it's been a week though, hasn't it? The markets
Oh, let's
have been a week.
just calm your
No,
farm, mate.
no,
I know you're
let's
too
get into
eager to
it.
jump in, mate. Let's just do a bit of romancing first, okay? Dinner and a movie. Um,
You're not going to get that from me, mate.
Creed, Creed, Creed has a new album.
Oh
Congratulations!
yeah, I know.
Finally,
It's a bit deceiving. It's actually a remaster of one of their old albums, but it looks like they've got some new
uh,
songs on there as well. But
I
they're
like
back.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, but they're back, mate. They
They're
are.
back.
Are they going to come
They-
to Australia?
Hopefully, they're touring the US at the moment with I can't remember. It was another band I
They're on
like,
that
but
boat, aren't they?
yeah, exactly. No. This is an actual proper on the ground on the boots tour,
Cool.
not the cruise one.
The cruise one that did
Yeah,
look very
yeah.
interesting.
This one actually it's Three Doors Down. I think they're touring with, which is
Oh.
another blast from the past. But yeah,
Then you used to call me
yeah,
Superman. Yeah, that one.
Kryptonite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, yeah,
That was it.
Creed are back. Creed are back. It's great, fantastic. Getting pumped. Getting pumped.
Yeah, that was
If they
good.
do come, I'm definitely going. I went
Have you?
to back when was it 1999 and 2000, so
Yeah.
end of high school. I think they toured twice, and I went to both concerts. I remember, I remember because I took my little brother, and I remember this guy ahead of us because being Creed concert, the sort of demographic is a lot of Northerners from Adelaide,
Hmm.
and this guy was toking up. He was getting higher. As Creed say, he was getting higher, and he
Yeah.
accidentally set the hair of the guy in front of him on fire, and he's sitting there bashing him on the back of the head. And the guy just turns around and he goes, "Oh, sorry, mate. I set your hair on fire." And he's like, "Oh, good." He just kept on rocking. He just kept on going. He just didn't care. But yeah, that's the type of fun you get at a Creed concert, I suppose.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah, it's it was weird that this is how I found out that you're a huge Creed fan.
Mm.
I was joking about Creed, and then it turns out that you were just like I was tongue in cheek, and it turns out you were very much not tongue in cheek about Creed. I didn't
No,
realize just how
no.
big a Creed fan you were.
Oh,
Um,
I love it. I
Good
love
for
it.
you. Good
Yeah,
for you.
yeah,
I don't mind it either. Actually, I find it uplifting, and I'm not a religious person, but I find if you don't think too much about it, it's just something. This so it's just also maybe little nostalgia for that late 90s.
yeah,
School's finishing. You had all the time in the world. You could turn down every offer that you got, thinking it was all going to be
yeah.
okay, and that was it. No looking back. And there you go.
Fantastic.
Sigh.
Fantastic.
There was something else going on the Olympics, mate. Hey, how about this guy? How about this
Oh,
guy,
old
the
mate,
shooter from Turkey? I'll see
mate,
if I can yank this up on the screen.
the ex-assassin.
I think he's a spook, mate, for sure. There's no way that he's not a spook. What have I
I
got? Look
know.
at this one.
And he won,
Uh,
he won silver, didn't he?
he won silver,
Yeah,
yeah, but he
yeah,
just rocks up and shoots.
yeah.
So I've got this. I'm actually sharing it to a Word document. I'll try and zoom in. So this is his name is. Everyone sort of just saw. He's just standing there, gun, t-shirt, jeans, no eye gear, no eye stuff. Barely. He probably has got little ear things in, but no big earmuffs or anything like that.
No,
His name is Dicek. I'm going to get that wrong. Dicek Yusuf, who
that's
only
probably right.
recently took up shooting after a particularly heated argument. Anyway, and he won
Oh,
silver. I think this is in the this is the 10 meter live fire shooting. I think it was the tens.
yep.
A very difficult. I tried it. I'm more of a trap shooter myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually quite a decent trap shooter. I was back when I was young,
Yep.
but I tried pistol shooting, and it's the muscle. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Yep.
It's a lifetime of training. This guy's just rolled in. Quote, he credits his success with his newfound passion for seeing his kids and a relentless drive to prove his ex-wife wrong.
Oh
I
God.
never thought I'd be here, Yusuf said, shrugging nonchalantly. I was just aiming for a weekend with the kids. His unorthodox approach, no specialty gear, no training regimen, and a wardrobe consisting of his everyday jeans and a t-shirt has baffled professional shooters. Quote, he just shows up, shoots a near perfect round, and then asks if there's a smoking area nearby, end quote. Finally, and this is the best bit. So it was all just because he was frustrated with his ex-wife and his divorce.
Yep.
And this woman must have been some sort of woman who's driven him to take up an Olympic level professionalism in the sport. After winning silver, Yusuf stood emotionless on the Olympic podium and declared, quote, Sharon, if you're watching this, I want my dog back.
Oh no, she took his dog. Oh,
She took his
that's
dog,
dirty.
man.
That's
He's gonna
dirty.
John Wick this. He's gonna John Wick it, mate.
Oh no.
Anyway, just out of nowhere, and I'm loving this guy. Absolutely loving this guy. I'm gonna stop share. Oh shit! No, don't do that. Okay, good.
They'll make a movie of this bloke one day.
I hope
It's
so.
that sort of
I hope
energy,
so.
you know.
Eddie the Eagles. So anyway, the Olympics has been great. It's on a
It
half
has.
decent time for us.
Mm,
I was up late last night talking to London,
yep.
and you just forgot. And the next thing you know, there's some Australian comes out for a play just in the archery. Out of
Yep.
nowhere.
Yep. Aussie's doing well, but not as well as the Americans, apparently, if you listen to the New York Post. America is on top because they're counting the overall medals rather than the gold medals.
Yeah,
They're not happy.
I saw something very interesting. I think it was in the swimming. America got silver and bronze, and another country got the gold.
It's Australia, I think.
Yeah, and the caption said, "Congratulations to the USA on winning this swimming event." That's not how you count. It's gold medals, okay, and then you rank everything else. It's just the way that it goes, okay. Americans are going to America, mate. That's just how they roll.
I think China are on top. And can you imagine what Trump's going to do and the narrative he's going to run with if China end up winning the most gold medals in the Olympics? You know, is going to be Biden's allowed this to happen. Biden has, hasn't done enough by our athletes. I'm going to save our athletes will return to number one by the next Olympics. That's going to be his go-to if China end up being on top.
No, good. All right, mate. Well, anyway, we're going to get straight into it. And here is crossing over now to Adelaide. We've got Heath Moss with the market report.
Beautiful. All right, I'll just share my screen. That's coming up.
Good.
All right, beautiful. All right,
Yep.
I thought I'd start with the Aussie market this time because we did get comments last week that we're not covering the Aussie market enough. We are an Aussie podcast, and it's been a big week for the Aussie anyway. So let's have a look. Prior to today's massive falls, we're seeing about 2% falls on the Australian market following
Just
the
note,
US.
we are recording. It's the 2nd of August, 2024. It's currently 11:15.
Yep.
On a Friday morning, and the market is getting an absolute beating.
Down
2%. Getting dumped faster than the first date who orders the lobster, I believe is the expression.
And
that's not sexist. That could be anyone. That could be either sex ordering the lobster as well. So don't you come at me, people, okay? That could be anyone. Go.
Down 2% on the back of the US last night. But prior to that, we're up 2.5% for the week, which was phenomenal. All on the back of our CPI reading on Wednesday. Headline CPI came in as expected for Q2 at 1%. But trimmed came in softer at 0.8% versus 1% expected. So
that's how
that basically means
my
RBA is done. No hikes. That's it. It's all done. Yep. And cuts are starting to be factored in now. In fact, they got 3 cuts factored in by Christmas next year now.
I need more cuts. I need that by Christmas this year, please. I'm in some trouble. I need you to send me some money too, please, if that's okay. Gareth Aird on the CBA report came out this morning and said that they're no hike. However,
no hike.
UBS does still they factor in 1 hike. They think August is live.
Yeah, they can. Apparently, they're the best at basically measuring the RBA's mood or reaction.
Oh, they had it. Whatever.
Yeah,
they're on a hot streak. Everyone gets on a heater sometimes, mate. It's Anyway.
But
okay,
that's where we saw the big candle there on Wednesday. We're up. I think it was over 2%. On Wednesday, on the back of that, up again a little bit yesterday, down again today, but looking good. Respecting those trend lines, we've got the breakout there around the 7,900 mark. We're about 7,950, so off our new record highs we hit last night. But looking good there. Earnings season has just started here. Not too many big companies that are reported yet. Rio reported their results are up. It was fairly lackluster. It was up about. Their profit was up 1% on the back of better copper production and prices. Iron ore was down a little bit, but they've basically said that copper is the way. This is the way. Copper is the way, and looking to accelerate their growth there because they took a larger share in their Mongolian assets. I think they've got the largest share they can now, sharing it with the government over there. They've got their own assets, obviously, here in Australia as well, and Escondida, etc. But they did say they were open to more mergers and acquisitions. So that is one to watch. Maintain their dividend around $1.77 US a share. So looking good there. I think we're close to the bottom of iron ore. I think we're at the sort of stage where everyone is extremely bearish. Metals and especially iron ore that we're close to the bottom there, and these metal markets will turn up in the second half of the year. The other one for me was ResMed this morning. Now it's a pop. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong chart. That's the American listing. It's dual listed.
I'll take that one.
There we go.
Oh,
so ResMed, their report this morning was fantastic. This is an extremely high quality company. You can notice all these gaps here. Now, ResMed has been affected by the weight loss drug sort of saga. They're in sleep apnea. Most sleep apnea is caused by obesity. So,
drugs,
these guys,
no obesity, no sleep apnea.
Exactly. They're worried about their addressable market. And anytime one of these companies come out and say, "Hey, we've done more studies. This is how successful it is," they get smacked down. It happened again a few weeks ago. You can see it was around $32, went down to about $27, $28. It's recovered all that and more. The results this morning were fantastic. Revenue up 9%, profit up 27%. But their margins, this is what the market has been looking at. Margins were up 330 basis points versus the same time last year, and up 60 basis points from the previous quarter. So margins are expanding.
I love margins. Margins expanding is good. Remember.
They're putting that to manufacturing and freight costs coming down, plus higher prices being sustained. So these guys are a niche. These are high quality company. Anytime that dips below 30, I'm not sure if we're going to get again, but if it does, I'm in there buying. I really love ResMed. They're looking fantastic. So that's basically the Australian side of things. We go into a bigger earnings next week. We got, I think, CBA's next week. So we've got some of the big guys next week, and we'll
Yeah.
cover them next week's podcast, I think. So yeah, hopefully
Okay.
that is a little bit better.
We
US.
put a note out. Oh, sorry.
Yep, you go for it.
While we're still in Australia, while we are talking about Australia, you put me on. So I was asked by Stockhead. Give you a little preview, a little prelude. Don't jump ahead. I'm building up to it, mate. Put some.
I'm being prepared.
Okay. Thanks, mate. Stockhead asked me for some copper tips. Alma obviously is one that I like. Huge deposits of low grade, but it's very close to a port. So it's got two of the three things that you need. Huge reserve, close to a port, but the lower grade is made up for both those two things, which is good. The other one that I put in was I had Will, the amazing Will, who's my junior advisor. He put one in himself, so I'll wait for that because he's actually a much better picker than I am. And DVP, which is one of your recommendations to me. I did a little bit of work on DVP, Develop Group.
Yep.
And I fell in love with this. You know, when you look at something, you're just like, this has got everything that I want to have in a company.
It does.
Not only do the technicals look great, from my perspective. Is that 200 day?
Yeah, the red line's the 200 days, so it's just coming up touching that again.
Yeah, it goes by the 200 day, and we're off to the races. But it's a gold, copper. It's got a place at Woodlawn. Not gold, copper, zinc. At Woodlawn, I think there's gold in there too. But they also do mining services, so it's two different things. Little diversified company. Usually, I don't like diversified companies or diversification. I believe, as Peter Lynch called it. But it's this one because I like the picks and shovels thing of the mining services. But then I like anyway. So Will wrote a beautiful. So I wrote for Stockhead. I said that's in. That'll hit Stockhead soon about my little my picks that I've got in this. There's a little prelude about what it is I'm going to be picking. And we put a note out. I just went, I'm in love with this stock. I'm going out to clients with this thing now. I'd never heard of it before. Thank you, Heath, for putting me onto this one. Develop Group. DVP is the stock code. Annoyingly, we went out to clients, got a little bit of buying done, and didn't really have enough time to really get properly set in this thing. And they came up with an offtake agreement for their Woodlawn project this morning.
Yep, got finance, got offtake with one of the biggest commodity traders in the world, Trafalgar.
Yeah.
Which really sort of backs up the quality of their Woodlawn asset. I think eventually they'll spin out Woodlawn if they can't get proper value for it within Develop Group, because, like you said, they've got the mining services, which has a very large contract with Bellevue Gold. I think 400 million. And they've also got a lithium asset in there as well, which they took over in 2021, I think it was, right at the top of the lithium market. But this copper asset is a couple of brownfield mines that were shut down, had mined for a couple of decades, and they're looking to get them back online. I think overall production would be about 50 to 60,000 tons of copper a year. So not huge, but not insignificant either. And to me, they look undervalued down here. If you think copper's going to run, these are one of the exposures I think you should have a close look at. Very small.
I want this stock on all accounts, and I want it on all accounts by the end of the day. It's sort of what I was pretty clear about that to my guys here.
Yep.
I've just fallen in love with this holding, which is great. Anyway, that's me. That's my one stock of the day, stock of the week.
Beautiful.
I've stolen it off you, Heath, as always. Thank you very much.
You are
the wind beneath my wings.
Okay, bet Midler for you. All right, let's look at the S&P 500. Technically doing quite well, respecting that trend line where it started back here in October of 23. So our lows back there. Off a bit last night on the back of the ISM manufacturing surveys, which came in very, very weak. So the market is back at looking at concentrating heavily on macro data and looking for signs of a recession, I suppose. And that's why we saw the SPX off so much last night. It's off about 1.5%, I think. The NASDAQ was off 2%. So it was a really red day. But yeah, the Fed came out during the week, held as everyone expected, and basically confirmed September without any surprises that they're going to cut. And in fact, after last night's manufacturing data, the chance of a 50 basis point cut is up to 25% now. And we all know,
they're
though,
saying too little, too late. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's potential that they've just left it a bit. That was the narrative last night. Now that changes in 12 hours. So but it is definitely something that's started to be talked about. That potentially it is.
They said that on the way up.
It's a buying opportunity.
Yeah, they said that on the way up too. But the Fed pretty much nailed it, I think, with on the way up. I think they raised rates sufficiently, and the economy slowed accordingly, and inflation is down now where they need. I think the measure that the Fed uses, the PCI, is down around 2%. So it's looking very, very good there. So ISM scared the market. We did have some earnings, which I will bring up on the other screen so I can read them.
I've got an 11 o'clock call, so we got to roll. Let's go.
All right. I'll quickly. Microsoft beat on both revenue and earnings. Market sold them off on the back of not enough cloud growth and AI growth. But Nadella did come out later and say we expect both of those to accelerate in the second half. So the sell-off wasn't as bad. Amazon did well on earnings, missed on sales. Now, it's a little bit, I think they just got caught up in the sell-off or going to get caught up in the sell-off because obviously they reported after market from last night. It was a pretty good report. Sales slight miss. AWS cloud growth increased to 19% growth. And now that's up from 17.
It's a straight line.
17.2.
That growth is just it's almost too perfect where you'd actually be suspicious about how straight line. I saw it on Bloomberg before. It's just like that's a straight line of revenue growth. It's just nothing is that perfect.
And it's accelerating. And you think about the size. I think they said their cloud business is $105 billion in revenue per annum at the moment. That's massive. Being able to grow almost 20%, that's huge. There was some concerns around their capex surrounding AI, which I'll mention. I'll cover in a bit in a sec. And Apple was the other one. They beat on both earnings and revenue. A very good report, and made comments like the iPhone 15 at this stage is doing very a lot better than the iPhone 14 was doing at the same stage. China concerns are still there, but they're not as big a concerns at the moment. Now, I just want to quote. There's two quotes because there's this whole narrative around AI, and there's not enough revenue and earnings being seen from the AI at the moment. But this quote from Zuckerberg from Meta, and he's basically said, and they reported yesterday, I'd rather risk building capacity before it's needed rather than too late, given the long lead times for spinning up new inference projects. And then Google last week, CEO, went, when you go through a curve like this, risk of underinvesting is dramatically greater than the risk of overinvesting. So these guys, the commentary from these guys is still extremely bullish, and they are not concerned about a slowdown at all. In fact, they're concerned about being underinvested in this space in AI. So I think the whole AI thing where people are saying there's not enough revenue coming from, we need to see results, is more something manufactured from the analysts and research houses looking for a trade than the actual reality of the situation. Because AMD, again, said their growth, they see chip demand growth being strong well into 2025. So that's basically the take on the US markets at the moment.
That's good. I'll tell you what, it is a representation of the lack of vision and the short-sightedness is what I was looking for. Short-sightedness of the general analyst investment community of punishing a company for overinvesting in capex. There's a reason why capex is so far behind in the States and around most of the world. It's because analysts and the market only wants to see 1 or 2 quarters ahead.
Yeah,
that's why capex has. I as sure as God wears sandals, I will say it, stand by that. I'm sure there'll be people who are just like, oh no, actually no, the capex and the forward whatever and the hurdles and everything. It's like no, because they want to keep people happy for the next call. And that is the wrong way to build a country. It's the wrong way to build an economy, but that's the way that it is. And so that's why capex is underdone. That's why it's anyway. I've
just brought up
on that one. I've got to be 2 minutes. I've got a call. Let's do.
Okay, quickly. I just brought up Microsoft's charts quickly. You can see how it's come back to the 200-day.
Yeah.
Several times and bounced every time since their recovery in 2022. I think that's a signal for an opportunity here. They're down off about 11% at the moment.
Mate, that RSI is inviolable. I don't need to see the rest of the chart. That's fantastic. All right, footy tips. I've got Canterbury. Are you okay with me jumping in? I'm sorry, I was a bit
go for it.
I got the Canterbury Bulldogs last game of the week. Canterbury want it more. They're playing Canberra. I think they're going to do it. That's paying $2.50 or something like that. They're outsiders, but I think they'll win. Canberra is very sketchy at the moment. I'll tell you exactly how much they're paying, so I'm not guessing. Oh, actually, no, they're super favourites. $1.38. Sorry, that's not the most amazing bet that I've ever seen. Hang on, I'll throw an extra one in there. Put a Canterbury in, mix it in with try scorer for Bronson Xerri at 2.25. There you go.
Oh, beautiful.
Bronson Xerri. I don't know who he plays for. I just got these tips that someone sends through. I don't have time to actually look at anything anymore. That's why I'm losing my tipping comp. Next.
All right, I've got actually three possibles, or you can multi them up. All right, the first one is Hawks to beat Giants at $2.05. Hawks are flying, flogged my Crows, absolutely smashed them, made us look insipid. They're 2.05. I think the Swannies will get over Port here in Adelaide at 192. I think you're looking you'll get over them. And then Crows at the line versus the Cats. The line is 18.5 at $1.90. I like any of those three, or multi-them for $12.14.
You reckon the Crows will lose by less than 12?
18.5. So
18.5.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I reckon the Crows are playing a lot of heart. No problem at all. Thank you very much for that, Heath Moss of HLM Investments. You have joined us for the Theory of Thing Investment Podcast. My name is James Whelan, MD of Barclay Pearce Capital's Wealth Management Team, and we have loved having you on the show. Please rate and review this show wherever you get your podcasts, and tell your friends. That's how more people find the show. We're going to have a special guest on next week, I think. Going to talk to us about AI. No, trading. It's more of a trading theme next week, which is good. I'm going to lock that in. Eddie, did you see the thing that I sent you? Yeah?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
All good.
I'm going to book him. He's a fascinating guy. So that was it. That's how we do that was our work meeting. Well done. Congratulations. That was a little huddle. Thank you very much. Sponsored by Wakey Wakey. George, if you're listening, send out another box. I'm not buying myself. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have yourself a good one. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.